Hi guys, for this week, for the Coretta Scott King Award book, I chose Trombone Shorty. The author is Troy Trombone Shorty Andrews. The illustrator is Brian Collier. Publisher is Abrams Books for young readers out of New York. Copyright date is 2015. Genre would be Chaz, children's, picture book, and nonfiction. There are 38 pages, which does include the author's notes, and I would say the appropriate age would be between 3rd and 5th grade for this book. So a short summary of the story is it's a young boy who grows up in a low-income area in New Orleans called Treme. His older brother was in a jazz band, which inspired him to love and appreciate music as much as he does, and inspired him to want to be in his own band. His brother played the trumpet. Him and his friends loved listening to them so much that they acted like they were in a band themselves. But they decided they loved it so much that they wanted to create their own band, but they had no instruments to do so. That did not stop them, however. They managed to make it work to the point that the author actually ended up coming across an old abandoned trombone himself. Even though it was broken, he still picked it up and continued to play with it, making it actually work and doing something with it. There was a parade that came through New Orleans, and he hopped out and started playing, and his brother called on him and heard him playing in the background and called him Trombone Shorty. Where he at, which is how he got his name, because he was so short you couldn't see him over the crowd, but that he was playing the trombone, and that's how his brother knew that it was him. After that, he continued to play, and him and his friends created the same band that they were with, and they played around all around New Orleans. Well, his mom ended up taking him to a parade, and he took that trombone with him. It was Bo Diddley's parade. It was one of the biggest festivals that they had in New Orleans. And during the concert, he was playing his trombone, and Bo Diddley actually stopped playing his concert and asked who it was that was playing the trombone. His mother put him up on his shoulders, and he said that it was him, and Bo Diddley invited him up onto the stage to play with him. And he ended up getting behind the microphone and playing with Bo Diddley and telling Bo Diddley to follow him. And from then, after he got up and played, he was ready to have his own band. So with those same friends, he gathered them all together, and he actually ended up creating his own band. And they called themselves the 5 o'clock band because that's the time that they were able to play every day after they finished their homework from school. And they played all around New Orleans. They practiced continuously until he was asked and able to join his brother's band. And now he has his own band called Trombone Shorty and the Orleans Avenues. And they played all around the world, but they always make sure to come back to New Orleans to play. And they keep their eye on the younger musicians like that he once was. And now today, the author, he plays with his own band at the same music festival that he joined Bo Diddley at on stage. So the character is, you have a big brother James, who played the trumpet so loud that you could hear him playing halfway across the town. He was the leader of his own band. You have Bo Diddley, who was willing and invited the author up on stage to play with him once hearing the trombone playing in the crowd during his own concert. And then the author's friends, who of course helped him create the band that he currently plays in now. The illustrations in the story, if you look at them, they're pretty much cut and paste. They're not really drawn. Like, there's scenes, there's a lot of colors that jump out. They definitely follow along with the story. There's a lot of instruments that are in here throughout the story, but it's very much, especially from this picture, it's very much, it's cut and paste. You can tell. And then the plot is, you start with some background information that isn't your typical story of having a problem being created, but more of a dream and a goal wanting to be achieved. So you're left wondering if that's ever going to be achieved. And then if the young author, like what he's going to become, and the goal is achieved by strong dreams and dedication. The setting is in New Orleans. It's Mardi Gras, which isn't exactly a setting, but it's such a popular event that it makes itself a setting. You are filled with streets full of parties, people celebrating, beaded necklaces being thrown everywhere throughout the crowds. It makes itself its own setting. The theme that I take away is not giving up on your dreams. The author was a young boy with big dreams that he continually worked towards, and he eventually ended up achieving those, but he never gave up on them. The interaction between the characters is always positive. There's never any negative interaction in the story. as far as what I take away from this for children is all questions are answered, and how it's good for children to be read this book or to be recommended in the life skills. It teaches them not to give up on a dream, and it shows them different avenues to make the dream work and come true. As the author created his own band in the very beginning with no instruments, worked towards creating those dreams with a broken instrument, and now he's in his own band today. Strategy and activity that I would do with this one would be an observation chart. I think it would be a good graphic organizer for children to do. It would get them to hone in on the different senses that are talked about throughout the story. It does talk about senses as far as like the smells that they smell at the festivals and the parties, the sights that they see, the sounds that they hear, the feelings that they feel whenever they're touching the different instruments and everything else. And then how this story personally relates to me is not giving up on your goals and not giving up on your dreams. It's very important that children know and understand that. There are very many hopes and dreams that I once wanted to give up on but did not, and I would not be where I was today had I done so.